cloud. Sweet. Okay. I I hit record and normally it like tells me that it's recording and it didn't. Hey Walter. Hey, more people joining, which is awesome. Cool. Okay, I'll start the
Hello.
webinar now. Hey guys, it's Danny Wood here. Very excited to be hanging out with you today. Today we're going to be talking about the power of direct mail. And the thing I love about direct mail is that it gives you permission-based marketing to be reconnecting with your database. It's extremely powerful. So let me go ahead and share my screen on this. So Ecamm, PC. Sheb, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Wow, cool. Okay, awesome. And you can see right here it says envelope strategies.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna hit present. Present. Let's move this. Sweet. Okay. So envelope strategies to success. Why I love the direct mail is it gives you a reason to pick up the phone and to call people. Like when you are looking at your database, you can see missing holes and missing information. So if I'm about to do a direct mail campaign to my database, it gives me the courage and confidence and a fresh new reason to be actually picking up the phone and reconnecting with my sphere of influence, my friends, my family, my past clients. So, by doing direct mail, it actually helps you build your database because most people's databases are full of holes. And if you don't have a real reason or why to be working it, then you don't actually build upon it. So by forcing yourself to do a direct mail campaign to your core audience, it helps you with building that. The other thing is by sending a direct mail and using that as a reason for picking up the phone, is the voice-to-voice connections is actually the easiest form of new business in the future. If you were to do a mass email to people and say, hey, you're thinking of selling a home, click this link and fill in a form, the barrier to entry is challenging. People don't want to click links. They don't want to go to your website. They don't want to let the page load. They don't want to filter what's in it for me. And then they definitely don't want to take the time to fill in their name, phone number, and email. But if you were to pick up the phone and call a person, the chance of them saying, yeah, we're thinking of moving, or like the timing is right. So voice to voice conversations get you way more in this business than being super passive and just hoping that business comes to you. Plus, by calling people, it almost opens up the permission-based marketing for you. Because when I get a person on the phone, I could be like, "Hey, can I stay in touch and send you stuff?" Or by having the conversation, you'll make notes, mental notes of like, "Oh, I should follow up with this person at a later date." So it gives you permission-based marketing as well when you're picking up the phone. And then when you're doing a direct mail campaign, say I was going to do a mass letter out to like 300 people. Well, if I notice that there's a certain chunk of these people that I'm missing their mailing address, I would call them. It's 2024, so they don't answer the phone. So I would hang up the phone and then I would send them a text message of like, hey, Joey, I was going to pop something off in the mail to you and I realized I didn't have your mailing address. What's the postal code of where you're at? Question mark. And then it creates conversations. So SMS marketing, text marketing, what's awesome about it is that it's the highest deliver rates. So if you were to send a mass email to 1,000 people, how much of your email would hit the spam folder? A pretty big chunk. If you sent a mass text to those same 1,000 people, it goes right to the top of their list, right? So the deliverable rates of direct text marketing is much higher. And so when you pair that with, I'm about to do a direct mail campaign, and then you can text people based on like, oh, I don't have your address, I'm going to get it. You get a higher deliverable rate. It also is the best response rate. So if I sent 10 emails today, how many of those emails are going to reply? If I send 10 text messages today, how many of those texts are going to reply? The number is higher on text. And so texting is definitely the best response rate and it's the cheapest. So I love text marketing, but I combine it with if I'm going to do a direct mail campaign, I like to connect with people before I send the mail. And then I also like to connect with people after to make sure that they got it. Now, the thing with doing direct mail is that it also gives you a reason to be emailing people on top of that. So you could be doing it for your lead follow-up. So look at your database and look at all of your leads and like, are they on your list for the direct mail that you're about to send? If not, you could send them an email version of whatever you were about to do a direct mail with. You could also, whatever your direct mail campaign happens to be, and I'm going to get to some examples in just a second. You can actually repurpose those for your auto drips. So if you have like an email drip campaign for buyers and sellers, you can repurpose the content that you're going to be creating for the direct mail so that you're not just like making one thing for one purpose. I want to see you guys make one thing that you can leverage for direct mail, email, social media, automated drips. You know what I mean? Make one piece of content that you can use in multiple fashions. And then the awesome thing about emailing people is that it's an easy way to shake the tree and see what falls because things change over time. A lot of people in your database are like they're happy, they're not moving. 4 months later, 6 months later, life happens. They got a new job, they got a new baby, they got a new divorce, whatever. I don't know. Stuff's happening in people's lives. So there's always a constant state of change. And so your database, if like you just shake the tree once a year, it'd be surprising to you what falls. So I love the fact of double dipping, and when you do a direct mail campaign, you also email the people based on that. Now, this is what most agents face when they look at their database. They don't know who the people are. So if I was to like handhold with you and log into your screen and pull up your database, and I was like, okay, call the first 10 people, you'd be like, kind of stuck and awkward, right? And so a lot of real estate agents face this where they have a database, but like they don't know who the people are. And just because they have a database, it's actually full of like missing information. So, what I would suggest that you do is take your database. I don't care how big it is. Is it 100 people? Is it 300 people? Is it like 3,000 people? Take that database and then create a warm list. So, this is rule number one. If you want to do uh, a reconnection program with your database, then you have to identify who are the warm people. Who are the people that if I was to pick up the phone and give them a call, one, they would answer, two, they already know who I am. You don't want to be caught in a position of calling a person and having to explain who you are. So, what I want you to do is later on today, if you get nothing else from this webinar, do this one piece of homework. Pull off your list of all of your contacts and then create a smaller list. I don't care what you call it. So here I say tag them with warm list. Create a bucket, create a tag, create a label, and the warm list means you can apply that to your friends, your family, your past clients, your current leads. But like the rule of thumb is, do they know you and do you know them? If so, apply the warm list tag because if you have a database of 3,000 people, that's not warm. You don't know those people. If I was to actually sit with you on speakerphone and have you start calling people, you'd be sweating bullets and it'd be awkward and painful and you would hate every moment of it. So what I want you to do is I want you to have joy and fun and purpose in this business. And the easiest way to do that is to have conversations with people that are already warm to you. Um, Basically, people you get a positive vibration from. Like when you talk to them, you enjoy the conversation. That's what I want you to do. I don't care how big your database is. I want you to just get a warm list of within your database. So once you have that warm list within your database, it's actually easy to see the holes that are missing. So when I pull up my warm list, I want to make sure that I have everybody's name, phone number, email, mailing address, and possibly birthday. That's like the default, but rule one. There's no point doing anything else if you don't have that, right? And so if I can see, okay, this is my warm list of the 3,000 people that I have, my warm list is like 600 people. Okay, of my 600 warm people that actually know me when I call them, I can pull off a list of like, these are the people that I'm missing the phone numbers. These are the people that I'm missing the addresses. These are the people that I'm missing their birthdays, and use that as a reason for why you're reconnecting with them. Okay, so that's rule number two. Rule one is create a warm list. Rule two is fill in all the missing holes. Nobody's going to do it for you. This is just like tough love. You got to do it for yourself. Nobody knows your database better than you. And so you actually have to like set the time aside daily of patching your holy mess. Because people hate their database. They're like, oh, my CRM sucks. And then you like switch to another CRM. And guess what? You run into the same problems because it's not the CRM. It's the user. It's you. And so I like to intentionally build on my warm list and make sure that there's no holes in it. If I see that I'm missing a person's mailing address, I'll call them up and say, "Hey, I was going to pop something off in the mail to you. I don't have your address. I just want to make sure you don't miss it. What's the postal code where you're at?" And then they give me the postal code. Okay, cool. So what's the actual like direct mailing address? So then they give me the mailing address. Now, if I'm missing the phone number, how do you get phone numbers that are missing? Well, I would search that person up on Facebook and send them a voice message and say, "Hey, Betty Ann, Danny Wood here. I was about to give you a call. I realized I actually don't have your phone number saved for some reason. So, what's the best way to reach you these days? Okay, I'll talk to you later." Boom. Build upon it, right? So, I want you guys to take your list, fix this patchy mess so that we can actually start doing some direct mail. Now I'm going to ask you a question and say, you're a realtor, right? Question mark. The answer is yeah. Okay. Well, if you are a real estate agent, it makes a lot of sense that you have everybody's mailing address. This is the product and service that you work within, real estate. So how can you have a database and not have people's mailing addresses? Like it, you got to. Okay, so if you have a database and you have people's phones and emails, rule number the next rule is to get all of the addresses. You need to get everybody's address, especially people that are local. So if you have a database and it's 3,000 people and they're all over the province or state, wherever you're from, then what I want you to do is find out who are all the people that are in your area in the service that you provide. So like if I'm from Oshawa, Ontario, my service was Pickering to Bowmanville and anything in that range. Everything outside of that, I would refer to other agents, but anything within, I wanted to know who lives in these pockets. Can I get them on my list? Are they identified in my database as a warm list? Okay. Now, once you have a database and it's got like the warm people identified, you've got all the holes patched, now you're fishing where the fish are. It's like a barrel of fish. So, what's awesome about this barrel of fish is that the conversations are way easier because you know them and they know you. It's close to your area of service, so you know that your time focused on these people when you do a direct mail, when you're calling, when you're emailing, all of those efforts are leading towards listings that are already in your area of service, as opposed to doing like cold internet marketing. They may not be in your area. The other thing is that these lead to referrals, right? So if you have a warm database of friends, family, and past clients, those conversations may not lead to them listing a property right away or buying a property right away, but it does lead to referrals if you're in touch over time. So that's why you really want to put your time and effort. Like I'm an internet guy, most of the time. But the most enjoyable side of the business is referral. So most of my programs, I actually don't do paid ads. It's all referral marketing because it's just an easier sale. I don't have to actually sell myself when I'm on the phone talking to a person. They're already sold. And so this is where I want to get you guys at. Okay. So why I love direct mail is because it actually gives you purpose in the marketing that you're doing. So picture this. If every year, spring, summer, fall, winter, every quarter, you could do like a quarterly update to everybody in your database about the area that you serve or the city that they live in or the neighborhood that they live in. doing direct mail, client appreciation. People love being appreciated. It makes them feel good. People refer those that they know in the business. They know you, like you, and trust you. And the easiest way for that to happen is to actually like get face to face with people and build true, meaningful relationships. So client appreciation is awesome. Client pop buys, they're like you popping by and delivering something to their door. Some people hate the idea of that, or it sounds, I don't know, some people make fun of it. I don't know. Other people have a whole career from it. So like I don't there's no right and wrong. It's just your approach and how you do things. And you can wow them with swag as well. So with direct mail, um, I don't just send just because you can brand a pen and slap your logo on it doesn't mean you got to get everybody your crappy plastic pen. Just because you can get a water bottle, just because you can get a magnet with your logo branded on it, that's not the type of swag I want you to get. Like one of the best pieces of swag that I mailed everybody in my database was oh, here. So this little like business card case, I found online there was a plastic version of it and it was like a wallet or a sleeve. And I put my business card in it, but then I put the business card of all of our vendors. So mortgage brokers, lawyers, home inspectors, our plumber, roofer, electrician. So I created almost like an actual physical directory and mailed that to people, and they loved it. It blew their minds. And the actual book itself was like super cheap, and all of the vendors chipped in and paid for it. So the cost was very, very low. And I did that not as like an actual direct mail. I did it as a pop buy where I popped by and gave it to people. And it gave them a safe spot to keep my contact information. It gave them a real item of value. So direct mail is very, very powerful. Now, the first letter, if you're like, okay, sounds good. I want to do direct mail, but what do I actually send people? This is my first answer, is the nosy neighbor alert. The reason why I like doing this first is because you have a lot of power once you get people set up on this. So the concept is this. If I was to say to you, hey, I want to buy a home in your city, what would you do? You would set me up as a prospect and you would be like, okay, so you want to move to Oshawa and Whitby, and how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what price range, what type of property, blah, blah, blah. And then you me up on an email alert of any new listings going forward. Okay, I want you to take that same approach and do it for everybody in your database that you have their mailing address for with permission. So obviously you're going to call them first to do this. And my script sounds like this. So I pick up the phone, ring, ring. Laura answers the phone. I'd be like, hey, Laura, it's Danny Wood over at ABC Realty. Hopefully I caught you at an okay time. She says, yeah. I'd be like, awesome, Laura. So you can relax. I'm not asking you to buy a home or sell a home, but I do have something that impacts your area. And if you could guess, how many homes do you think sold in your neighborhood? Do you think it was like 3, 8, 12, 20? And she says a number. It doesn't even matter. Whatever she says, I'd repeat. So she's like, 8. I'd be like, 8? Okay. So you would agree that's not a very overwhelming and spammy number because we have this new system that what it does is it emails you all the activity just in your pocket. So, like you say, you might get 8 emails a year. But what you see within those emails is one, what the homes are listed for, two, what they're selling for. In addition to that, you're going to see the home renovations that people are doing to properties similar to yours, and you're going to see home staging ideas to properties similar to yours. And I don't want you to miss out. So, what's the best email for me to include that on? That's my script. Now, I would be calling everybody first because there's more power in calling people. And then for those that I didn't actually talk to on the phone, I would send them a letter. So I actually made a letter for you. This is a Canva template that I'm going to give everybody access to. And it's already got a letter pre-written for you. Obviously, read it and edit it so that it fits your flavor and how you speak and your language and spelling and grammar and whatever. But this is the Canva template. You guys can have that, and I'll give it to you after this. Now, I have a rule. If you do a direct mail campaign, you have to follow up with everybody. So if I did a mass mail this week, I would be time blocking next week that I'm going to follow up with everybody to make sure that they got the letter. Here's the deal. If I call Laura to say, okay, first of all, say I call Laura and she didn't answer the phone when I wanted to tell her about that Nosy Neighbor program. So instead, I do a direct mail and I mail her a letter. Okay, so I mail the letter. A week goes by. I pick up the phone and call Laura. I'm like, hey, Laura, I popped a letter in the mail. Did you get it by chance? And her life is so busy. She's like, oh, I don't know, maybe. Well, who knows? Maybe her husband got the mail and he just threw it out, so she didn't see it. So I'm using the fact that I did a direct mail to them as the reason for the phone call, as the reason for following up. And when you call people on the phone, it's easier for the prospects to take action. So let's say I did a direct mail and it was about the house values, a house value report for the year end. Well, if I did a direct mail to everybody saying, hey, if you want an updated CMA about the property values in your area, go to this website. The barrier to entry is a challenge because the person's reading a letter and then they're going to be like, oh, I got to open up my phone and go to this website. Okay, www dot what's this like 30 letter domain. Boom, boom, boom. Takes them too long to type it. Plus, their phone is dinging off. They got Facebook and social media and all these other distractions. So the chance of them actually getting to your website and taking action is a lot lower. Then, if I get them on the phone, like, hey, I popped off a letter in the mail. Did you get it? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe. No, I don't think so. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, anyways, it was about fill in the blank. Do you want it? And it's easier for them to just say yes. So by sending a direct mail about whatever your call to action is, and then using that as a reason for the phone call follow up the week after or 2 weeks after or whatever, you're going to get more buy-in from people. So the other thing is that it gives you permission for your mission, which is fun because a lot of us face a challenge of like you don't know what to do or why with your database. And so what happens is nothing, right? But if you pick a reason, now you've got permission for yourself to actually like take action. It makes it a lot easier if you have a why or a reason behind all of this. Take a screenshot of this. I'm going to wait a second. Grab your phone, just take a picture of the screen. So this is a list of potential letters that you could send. So I'm not saying that you have to send direct mail every month. What I'm saying is you have to send more direct mail than you're currently doing, because most of you are doing none, right? Some of you are doing monthly, some, but not all. And those of you that are doing monthly, it's almost like spam, actually, if you look at what you're sending monthly. So I'm going to roll through these ideas and give you the first one, which is in the summer, we would do a direct mail campaign to everybody in our database. And we would talk about the fact that we have hired a photographer for free for you if you or anybody you know is thinking of listing their property for sale in the fall or the winter. When you list your property for sale in the fall or the winter, the grass is not green, the sky is not blue, the snow is covering everything. So what we want to do is we're going to have a photographer come and take photos of your property today during the summer while the flowers are blooming. We would do that every summer, mail that out to everybody, and we always got listings from it. They weren't listings that week, they were listings later on, next quarter or the quarter after, but at least it gave us a future pipeline to work with. So that's one example of a letter that you could mail out. Another one is we're hiring. So not always are you hiring like a team where you want a buyer agent or a seller agent on your team. Some of you are fortunate and doing that, but a lot of us are like solo agents. Well, are you hiring help for marketing? Are you hiring help for admin? Are you hiring help for social media? Are you hiring help for like video editing? And so one of the greatest response rates we ever got from any mass email or direct mail campaign was the we're hiring. Especially these days, everybody's so brainwashed at how like cool our job is. Everybody wants to be a sexy realtor that just you know what I mean? The Netflix and all these TV shows make real estate agents just look like drama queens that are paid bank and look amazing. and the only stress they have is the drama that they're causing, which isn't the reality, right? But anyways, a lot of people like the idea of becoming a real estate agent or getting into real estate. So if you did that as a direct mail, now here's a fun fact. When we ran campaigns that were hiring, a lot of people would apply and they weren't licensed. It doesn't matter. So I would pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Joey, congratulations. It looks like you're thinking of getting into real estate. You applied for our job that we have here in Oshawa." And I was just curious, like, have you started the real estate process? Like, do you have your license? Most people say no. And then that's fine. So I'm going to get a referral out of it. So I'll be like, that's awesome. So as a new real estate agent, you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent. You obviously have a radar for real estate, right? You have an interest in it. So if you want to hit the ground running, you'll probably need to know some people that are thinking of buying a home or selling a home. So let me ask you that question. Do you know anybody that's thinking of buying a home or selling a home? Because what we can do is I can have you shadow me and I'm going to set them up with a prospect match to get all the listings that match their criteria. I'm going to do a house value CMA for you, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you want to like go under my wing, then just let me know who you know that's thinking of moving, and I'll help you out. So I was actually taking the list of all these people who were applying for our jobs, and I was getting referrals out of it and business from it. Another example for why you might want to do a direct mail is invitations for your client events. I became a professional fun haver, and because I found connecting with people always about business wasn't fun, and it made me not want to pick up the phone, and it made me question like, what am I doing with my life? And so I started doing more intentional, fun activities. Um, goat yoga, free dive lessons, CPR course, golf lessons at the driving range, stand-up paddleboard tour with a DJ, like really unique experiential things. And it gave me a fresh reason every quarter to be reconnecting with people and inviting them and including them. Really, I just wanted to be able to pick up the phone and call a person every couple months or every 6 months, right? You don't have to be like that hardcore with it. Twice a year on the phone is good for most of you. And it just reminds people that you're still in the business, you're still their friend, right? And client events is just a really good way of doing that. You could also do a direct mail campaign to build your database. So I built up a list of local vendors when I first got into real estate in 2007. I my website was pretty sparse. I didn't have any content on that website. So the very first thing I did in the first week was I started a directory of all the real estate services in our city. And what ended up happening was my website outranked, for example, the mortgage brokers. So I picked the top Royal Bank of Canada mortgage broker who was in Durham. I picked the top Scotia Bank mortgage broker who was in Durham, the top CIBC mortgage broker who was in Durham. And I created a page for each one of them with their photo, their bio, a little testimonial. And what ended up happening over time was if anybody searched those people, my website outranked the banks. And so, anyways, creating a directory is an easy way. Like, imagine if you took your database and you started calling people and you built up a database, or sorry, a directory of all the local businesses and services of people that you know. Put that on your website and use that as a reason for why you're doing the direct mail, why you're doing the calls, and why you're doing the emails is to build up the community and spotlight and showcase with people locally your businesses and services that you honor. So a list of local vendors is a good option. Sold marketing matters. And when I first got into real estate, I was kind of confused about this because I started working with a team. I joined I did the marketing for a big team. And on the first week, I was confused. When they did newspaper advertising, they always had a bunch of solds. And I'm like, why are you advertising listings that aren't even available anymore? And it's because listings matter and people got to see that you're actually selling property. And if you're not selling property, your brokerage is. So leverage that. So I took the idea of a newspaper, and this is an 8.5 11 sheet of paper, and this is a Canva template that I'm going to give you today. And so this Canva template, it's easy, it's drag and drop. You just put the photos of the properties that have sold. And imagine if you did a direct mail campaign a couple times a year to everybody in your database with a list of all of the solds that your brokerage has done or that your team has done, and then a big call to action, thinking of selling with a QR code. It just instills with the people who you are and what you do. Plus, they love looking at listings. People like the real estate section within the newspaper, in my opinion, is what kept the newspapers alive. If you look at the newspapers in Durham region back in the day when we had paper, the real estate section was huge. It was almost like with its own newspaper. And so why? Because people like it. People like looking at listings. So take that concept and put that on the back of your letterhead or whatever the letter is that you're mailing out to people. Um, Now, that was an example of doing like a just sold or a sold flyer. But I'm going to show you one that we have a template for just listeds. And let me zoom in. I'm going to, even though I'm going to tell you to advertise all the listings, you should still pepper a couple solds. And I purposely, in the template that I'm about to give you, you'll see here's a listing, but sold, sold, sold. This call to action has the sold all over it because you want listings. I want you to have listings. So you have to be marketing that you're selling property or that your brokerage is selling property. Now this flyer that has all of the listings on it, you could do it where it's just mixed, where it's some condos, some detached, some commercial. Or you could send out a letter every quarter or every month, and every month or every quarter it's themed, where this month it's condos, next month it's bungalows, the month after that it's duplexes, the month after that it's waterfront property, the month after that it's pre-construction, the month after, you know what I mean? Because like if people started getting these letters and it's a different theme, the theme is going to strike a chord with different people. You don't need everybody to respond to the letter. You just need a few people to respond to the letter. And so by creating themes when you do the direct mail, there's a greater chance that the person that is actually about to take action in that direction, now they've got a source. You're the source. You've got all these listings that are kind of fitting what they're looking for, but not really. And what I say by not really is because if you do an open house, how many of those people are actually going to buy that open house? Not many because they have specific needs, wants, and criteria. So you end up helping them by finding them another listing. Same thing when you have a direct mail piece, you're going to have a bunch of listings on it. And there's a good chance that the listings that you have aren't going to be a match for what they're looking for. All you need is conversation. You need to know that they're interested, and then you'll help them find what they're looking for. Okay, so another example of a direct mail campaign that you could do would be like a report in the spring because you want the listings, or year end at the end of the year. So a little snapshot. If you're fortunate enough to have your own real estate app, some of you do, many of you don't, but if you do have a real estate app, it's very sticky. What I mean by that is if you can get your app in the hands of people and they actually have the app on their phone and that's their source for searching real estate, looking at real estate, filtering new listings and solds, that sort of thing, that would be my main mission. If I had an app, my number one thing would be to get everybody downloading the app. I would call them, walk them through setting it up. I would have a blog and a landing page showing the benefits and how to do it, that sort of thing. So if you have an app, obviously I would be pushing that for sure. Oh, okay. Cool additions to listing presentations. Let me tell you a story. So, okay, so say I updated my listing presentation. What I used to do back in the day when I was making stuff like this is I would then call people within my database of whose opinion I value and trust and admire. So I would call up like Ray. Ray owns 5 car dealerships. So I call up Ray. Ray answers the phone. I'm like, hey, Ray, what's up, buddy? Danny Wood here over at ABC Realty. You got a quick second? And he's like, oh, yeah. Hey, what's up, Danny? I'm like, awesome, Ray. So you know what? I really appreciate your opinion. And I really admire what you do within the business community. And I was just curious, can I send you 2 photos? I just want your opinion on something. I've updated my listing presentation because I'm looking to get more buyers and sellers and specifically listings. And I just want to share 2 photos with you and get your opinion. Can I text you that? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. What's up? So then in my phone, I would just text him the screenshots of whatever I've been working on. What happens is I get to do a mini presentation with him, but not the full presentation, just a couple of the highlights. We get to engage in conversation. I get to get true feedback from it. And at the end of the day, I was able to instill with him who I am and what I do. And it's like, just you can't do that with everybody in your database. Like if I called my sister, for example, she doesn't care about marketing, she wouldn't have an opinion. So you got to like be careful. But if anybody in your sphere of influence is of business mind, then they for sure, I would be calling them and saying, "Hey, can I just send you a photo? I just want to like share something with you and an idea." And I just tell them like what my thoughts are, why I'm doing it, and then like if they have any feedback. And really, I don't even need their feedback. I just wanted to have the conversation with them, and I'm using this as a reason for that. So I don't know if that went over people's heads or not. Some of you will get it, others, it's okay if you don't. Another example of a direct mail piece that you could send out would be investment property or pre-construction. So I really, really enjoyed working with investors because for every one investor in my database, it's 2 properties. The one that they live in, the home that they live in, plus the home that they're renting out. So if I built a database up of 100 investors, I actually have 200 properties within my reach that in the future, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, a lot of those properties are going to be coming up for renewal. A lot of those landlords are going to hate the idea of being a landlord. A lot of those landlords are going to be loving the returns that they're getting and buying more. And so I really enjoyed working with real estate investors. When I first started working with them, I had a lot of agents like poo-poo the idea. They're like, you don't want to work with investors, they have no loyalty. I was like, it's perfect. I got a chance. You know what I mean? They got no loyalty to me. They got no loyalty to the others either. As long as they're not under a contract, then the person that follows up the most and builds the best relationship wins that race. And I'm here for that. So I really enjoyed working with investments. Um, Mortgages are scaring people these days. The mortgage rates and renewals, it's like some people's mortgages have gone up like double, which is painful. And so you could do a couple things. One, do a direct mail to everybody about the mortgage rates and changes that are happening. You could do some comparisons and examples of like if you bought this, blah blah blah, and do an actual like before and after. And you could do one for a detached, one for a condo, and just like share real numbers and real stories with people. It encourages conversation where they're like they reach out to you about whatever. So mortgages. The other thing you could mail out to people is the ultimate handout. And I've given this to you in the past, and I'm going to give it to you again. The ultimate handout looks like this. So if I zoom in, um, on the left, it's like a menu. So a QR code to your search page, a QR code to your selling page, a QR code to your calendar page. Let me zoom in. All of your social media, QR codes to each of them. Down here, resources. So, one example of a resource could be finding out what your home is worth, or a home seller guide, or a home seller checklist. Another resource could be a home buyer guide, a checklist. Another example of a resource could be like a list of all of your vendors. Another one that I really think you should do is one about mortgage pre-approvals. And I would have a blog page of me interviewing my mortgage broker on the benefits of getting a mortgage rate hold. How long does it last? Is it 90 days or 120? What happens if the rates go up? What happens if they don't buy a home? Is there any cost? And so we would go over all of that information. And why I want that added as a resource on my sheet is because when I'm at an open house or when I'm meeting a person for the first time and I know that they're thinking of buying a property, I 100% want them to get a mortgage rate hold. One, so that I know they have the financing available, and two, because I have a deeper relationship with them now, because I'm actually like starting to work with them on the process of buying a home. So you got to come up with what your resources are and you can add them to that sheet. And then at the bottom of the sheet is whatever your call to action is. So in this example, I just have like book a call with me. You could change that if you want it to be about listing a property or whatever. You can change the, it's as Canva, so you can change everything. Okay, a tip. Did you know that there's a difference from Google Maps and Google My Maps? A lot of you don't know that there is a thing called Google My Maps. And if you Google search, so if you were to go to Google and you have to actually search Google My Maps. So search those three words together in Google, log in, and you're going to be able to create a new map. And you can actually import your database. And then it's going to visually map out where your database live. And you can see them on a map. And then you can create a driving map of like, okay, I'm going to do this pocket and do all my pop-bys this week. Next week, I'm going to do these ones. The week after that, I'm going to go up this road. So Google My Maps is a really cool tool that allows you to visualize your database and one, use it for pop buys. Two, to see like how spread out you are or where to focus your marketing, right? So maybe I'd be like, okay, I got to focus down here. All right, take a screenshot of this or a picture of this. This is your formula. So you're going to want to take your database and create a fresh list. So I want you to look at your current database and somehow, whatever tool you use, apply um, what I call it, fresh list, warm list, like whatever you call it. I don't care what you call it, but you got to have a smaller database within your database. And it's only people that like, if you call them, they know who you are and you know who they are. I want you to create that fresh list. So that's rule number one. Number two is then pick a reason. I just shared with you a whole bunch of reasons of why you would start doing a direct mail campaign and reconnecting with people. So you need to pick one reason and stick with it and work your database and get that reason out of the way. And then you can rinse and repeat. Now, before you even start, I want you to clean your database. When you create your fresh list, your warm list of people, I want you to export that as a CSV file so that you can see all the missing holes. Okay, these are the people who are missing emails. These are the phone numbers missing. These are the addresses missing. I need you to patch your database because as time goes on, every 3 months, 6 months, year, 2 years, 3 years, your database continues to grow. So there's a maintenance required for you to like actually monitor that. So I need you to clean your database. Then, after you do the direct mail, I really want you to follow up with people just to make sure that they got the letter. It just gives you another reason to be getting on the phone with people, or it gives you another reason to be texting people. On top of that, everything you do could be a social media story. So behind the scenes of like when you order the direct mail and you got the box and it just got delivered, take a photo, make a reel, make a story. Like don't keep the marketing that you're doing a secret. The behind the scenes is very powerful. So everything you're doing today can be a social media post. Then once you're done all of that, set the plan for the next quarter. What's the next campaign you're going to do? Are you going to do it next month? Or is it too rushed? You don't want to do it again. You're going to wait till after the summer and you'll start again in the fall. I don't care. Whatever your number is, do it more than once a year, right? You should at least shake the tree and reconnect with people and do a direct mail at least once a year. That's going to be more than most of you are doing, right? That's the formula. Boom. Okay. Envelope strategies. Now, let me go to the templates. So here's the letterhead template in Canva. And obviously, you're going to change the photo. This QR code, you're going to change. So let me show you how to change all that. So if you got to change your photo here, you are going to go to uploads and upload your photo. Uh, Let me just search realtor. All right, cool. Here she is, looking real. She looks better than me. Drag and drop, double click, move it over. Done. Okay, so I'm gonna undo that. And then obviously you want to change your name and phone number, so you just click and you can edit the text. That's self-explanatory. This QR code, where do you want that to go? Do you want it to go to your website? Do you want it to go to a specific page on your website? Do you want it to go to your calendar? So you choose where you want it to go. And I'm going to click once on it. And then over on the left, I'm going to go to apps and search the word QR. And it's this white one right here. So when I click on that, see this URL? That's where that QR code goes to. So you're going to delete this QR code. Sorry, you're going to delete this URL and you're going to paste or edit whatever your website is or wherever you want them to go. You're going to put that here and hit update code, and you're going to see that that code changes. Then here's a letter. So this one is a just sold letter. And obviously I want you to read it because like, look, I put my phone number here as a bunch of X's. You don't want to mail that out to people if it doesn't have your phone number. So you have to actually read this letter. Don't just send it because this is what I wrote. Okay, so this is an example of a just sold letter. I have another example of like an about you letter. And then here's an example of the nosy neighbor letter. And we can create more letters. I'm actually going to add to this. I'm going to add future versions and future letters here so that you can pick and choose the ones that you like. So let me get you this template. This is the one I suggest you start with, by the way, the nosy neighbor one. So I'm going to do share template, copy, Zoom, chat. Oh, I didn't see all the comments. Hey guys, I'll come back to the comments in a second. All right, so there is the first template. Got it. Okay, next template is the sold. So the back of your this is an 8.5 11 sheet of paper. You could actually have this printed on the back of all of your listings. You could have this printed on the back of like in your buyer package, your seller package. There's so many ways you could use this. It's just an 8.5 11 sheet of paper, so pick and choose when and how you use it. And okay, so let's do a quick little edit. So you're going to upload the photos of your listing. Uh, I don't have one, so I'm just going to search house. Okay, so let's pretend this is your hot new listing. You're going to drag and drop on the photo, and then you can double click on the photo and reposition if you need to. Cool. All right, so this one is an example of just solds. Now you'll see I have some dummy text. You're going to want to change the address. And then here I put sold in X number of days over list price. The average sale price in this area is blah. All right. This is just example text. I don't know what you're going to say. You are a human being. What do you want to say about that property? I don't know. You could say something generic. You could say something specific. Sometimes in some areas, depending where you are in the country, you can't actually like put the address and sold because you don't have the permission from the new buyer that just purchased that property. Well, then put a photo of like uh, a landmark in that area and then talk generically. North Oshawa, another home just sold North Oshawa. You know what I mean? So you can speak generic as well. Let's delete that. Okay, so here's all the solds. If you zoom in, thinking of selling, this QR code, you're going to want to change that so that it goes to, I would have this one go to your house value page, um, or whatever page you have that speaks about selling. And then I just put in plain English, Danny Wood, sales representative at ABC Realty with my phone number and my email. So nice, plain, simple text. Over on the right here, you'll see I have some like a disclaimer. And in this case, it says not intended to solicit buyers or sellers currently under contract, each office independently owned and operated. You may or may not need that. You can just hit delete if you like click it and hit delete or edit it, like whatever. I don't know what you got to have on your letter. Some of you are in the States and you have to actually put like your real estate license number whatever. So that's what that spot's for. This is for all the gibberish that you need, but you don't really care. Okay, so this is the just sold letter. Got it. Oh, let me get you the template. Create template. Go to Zoom. Paste. All right. Next. Same thing. This one is for the featured listings. So this one is for homes that are currently for sale, but you'll see I always have 3 boxes for solds. Even though this is about homes for sale, I always want to remind people that I'm selling property because like you want more listings. So same thing, drag and drop the photo. In this case, we don't talk about the home selling for X number of dollars or whatever. This is just you talking about the features. So this listing features stunning stuff about the property and you should talk about it. So this text is for you to edit, okay? It's just like a block of text so that you know that that's where the text goes and you can edit it. Same thing, the QR code, you'll want to change your phone number and stuff down here, and then you may or may not need this disclaimer. Okay, share template, copy. Go to Zoom, paste. All right, next on the list is this like ultimate handout that this could be a reason on its own to do a direct mail campaign to everybody is literally just to send them this page right here. I would print this on one side and your letter on this side. Or I would print your letter on this side and then the featured listings or the solds. Like you can mix it up every month or every quarter, change things up. So this featured menu here that we have, there's different versions of it. So this one down at the bottom, you'll see it says, ask me about real estate. That's just because it's like simple, makes sense. Now, if you have a calendar and you want people to book a call with you, you could use this one. If you have a specific call to action, and this one's about like downloading your app, you can change it as well. So maybe you want to change this to be about pre-construction projects, or you want it to be about your hiring, or you want it to be about anything. Just change the photo and change the text up. So pick the version that you like and delete the rest. So I'm going to share this as well. Template, copy. Go to Zoom and paste it. Bingo. All right, let me come back to just my camera and let me see the chat. If you chatted and I didn't respond, you can just unmute yourself. I'd rather hear your voice anyways. And so guys, let me know what questions you have, what fears and doubts you have. This is your time to just open up and just get direct help. So
Yeah, Dan.
yeah.
A question on Otter. I was trying to do a highlight as you're talking, and when I selected stuff and then clicked the pen, it says I need your permission. And then I got a notice that I had got your permission, but I still can't highlight. It's still getting the same message.
Yeah, but didn't you bring your own otter in anyways? Wasn't that
Oh.
you? Your otter's in here.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
So you have full permission on that one. So just use that one instead.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. I'll shut up.
No, that's awesome. Okay, so let me go to chat then and see if I missed anything. I didn't. Wow. Okay, you guys are quiet then. Cool. Okay, well, damn. Oh, direct mail. Okay, so you can buy stamps at Costco cheaper than you can buy stamps at Canada Post. True story. So go to Costco, buy your stamps there. And there's other methods as well. You can talk to go to Canada Post and set up like your own stamping system. Uh anyways, I'm gonna say the easiest, lowest barrier to entry is just going to be buying stamps at Costco and self-labeling. And I mean, you know what? You don't have to like make it a overwhelming chore where you have to send out 300. Do 5 a day, 10 a day. You know what I mean? Just be consistent with it. Cool. Okay. Direct mail actually works as long as you work it. So I'm hoping I just gave you some inspiring ideas on new and fresh reasons for why you'd be connecting and reconnecting with your database. Oh, I can actually share one thing with you. What time are we at? Okay, I got 3 minutes. Let me shift my screen. And cool. Okay, so here is Google My Maps. And you can see we created a Google map here of, these are all fake contacts, but you can see how you can actually like import your database. So how would you do that? So I'm going to go create a new map and then import, and you hit that button. And then what you're going to do is import your CSV file of your database. So whether you're using Follow Up Boss or KV Core or Top Producer, or like I have a CRM I give agents as well. You can take those files and you import it right here. And then it's going to map everybody out. And once you have the map, let me go back, then I can see, okay, this is my pop by. I'm going to start with this guy, then go down here. And it just makes it easier for you to like, I don't know where your people are. So that's Google My Map. And
Hey, Dan,
hey,
got a question for you. What variable are you using in the CSV file for the mapping? Is it the email address? Is it phone number, address?
all of it. So when I export my database, I export their name, their phone number, their email, and their mailing address. And when you import, so if I go here and click on one of these people, see how it has this Cynthia with her address? If I had have also included the phone number and email, it would be here, in here.
So it's
Okay,
just,
so
sorry, it's just the street then. It doesn't need the postal code.
It, I mean, if you have the postal code, I would include it. This was just a dummy example to show you that how it works. But I would do all of the information that you got.
Right.
Yeah. So it's different. Google Maps. So if I go to Google, open and go and just type in Google Maps. Okay, look, it maps.google.ca. That's totally different than if I search Google My Maps. Look, totally different URL. Google My Maps. It's a different thing. So it's not the same as Google Maps. Google My Maps allows you to create your own maps,
Fantastic.
and it's free.
That's great.
Yeah. And so I don't have, oh, actually I can show you something. So you're still looking at my screen.
Yes.
Let me open up numbers. Numbers and open up a recent one. Cool. All right, good. All right, so here's my numbers. So when I call people from my database, I actually don't call them from the database. I'll create a list, export it as a Google sheet so that it's on my phone, and then I'll go down and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna call her. So normally her phone number, where is it? Okay, so I'm gonna take the phone number column, I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna add it here. All right. So I want her phone number here. So, okay, this girl, I'm going to call her. So on my phone, I would copy that and call. She doesn't answer the phone. Remember, it's 2024 and people don't answer the phone. So I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to change the color of that. I actually use Google, not numbers. So bear with me for a second. So. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to do this in Google. I like Google better. I hate numbers. So I'm going to copy this. Let's go to here. Go
Or
to
Excel? Do you use Excel?
Google.
No.
Yeah, I do. But I'll just do, there's a cost to Excel and not everybody has it. So let me just do Google. It's free. Cool. Okay. So here, this girl, I'm on my phone. Remember, Google Sheets works on your phone for free. So I click her phone number, I call her, she doesn't answer the phone. So I'm going to highlight the whole cell and then I'm going to change it to yellow, meaning I called her, she didn't answer. And then the next person I call and she does answer. So I'm going to change the color of that to orange. And it doesn't matter what colors you choose to use. And then I call Bobby. Oh my God, Bobby's the worst. I hate Bobby. So I'm actually going to make him red because I hate Bobby. I'm only kidding. I don't even know who Bobby is. But anyways, so you can see how you will go down your list and maybe like today you only get to spot 10. Well, tomorrow you can see where you left off. And by doing it this way, you can see the holes that are missing. So let me remove all of this and delete. And then remove all of this and delete. Okay, so let's just delete a couple emails. And let's delete a couple phone numbers. Okay, so when I have my Google Sheet on my phone and I'm calling these people, so I'm about to call Cynthia. So that's her number. I go to call her. Well, I can see that I'm missing her email. So when I'm on the phone with her, I'm going to fill in the gaps. If I can see that I'm missing a person's birthday, if I can see that I'm missing their mailing address, if I can see that I'm missing their email, I'm going to include that in part of my conversation. So Cynthia gives me her email. Blah, 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 whatever. I add her email here. When I'm done going down this list and I've called everybody, then I'm going to re-import this back into my database with all of the fresh notes, with all of the updated emails, with all of the updated addresses. And it's the easiest way of working a database. I actually don't like working within the database because when you close the browser, when you close the screen, when you close the app, it's like you forget where you left off. But with this version of doing things, you can see where you left off. That's how I work a database, if you actually want to. And like I turn it into, so I'm going to stop my screen for a second. So I actually, I don't do it often. Like it's not like I do it weekly or monthly, but probably about every 4 to 6 months, I'll rework my database. And so I'll export everybody into a Google Sheet and I'll just start time blocking. Okay, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, I'm going to do a hike. And I'll go hike in the forest and I have my phone in one hand and my water bottle in the other. And I'm just like got the Google Sheet open, copy the phone number, call, she doesn't answer, hang up, send her a text, color code that cell that I called, and then move on to the next one. And I just keep going down the list. It's actually really easy and really enjoyable, and you get to get in shape while you do it. That's direct mail, guys. So there's a lot of power in it, a lot of leverage in it, and hopefully you got just a couple ideas that are get you inspired and take action. If we hang up this call and you have an afterthought, a question, a concern, or an idea, I'm open to all of you in the Zoom chat. I'm going to put my contact info and you can book a free call. MYCP. There you go. If you want to dive a little deeper, you got some ideas that you like today, but you just want like more clarity or bounce ideas, I'm here for you. So for now, I'll get you the recording. That's going to come out to you guys on like the Monday or Tuesday, and then we'll be together in a couple weeks. See you guys.
Thanks, Danny. Great session.
Awesome, man. Bye.
Cheers.
See ya.